can still hear that voice.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 anticipated horror movies of 2023. For this list, we're looking at some tantalizing horror releases that the rest of the year has in store for us. We'll only be including films that have yet to be released domestically as of this publication, and keep in mind that release dates are subject to change. As long as they're expected to come out sometime in 2023, they are fair game. So as pumped as we are, we won't be covering Maxine from the X series as that hasn't started filming yet.
I will not accept a life I do not deserve!
Which of these do you think will be the scariest? Shriek about it in the comments. Number 20, VHS 85, release date to be announced. The found footage genre isn't as popular as it was 10 years ago, but thankfully, the medium is inexpensive enough to continually satisfy horror hounds. Cue streaming services like Shudder, which has been distributing the last few entries in the long-running VHS franchise.
Oh God! Help me, please get me out of here! Please!
One of the great things about these movies is that they allow both established and up-and-coming horror directors to produce frightening short films, and VHS 85 has some of the most notable names yet. First, David Bruckner will be returning to the franchise after giving us the terrific The Ritual and The Night House. Then, Sinister and Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson will be staying with the genre after last year's The Black Phone.
If you try to touch me, I'll scratch your face. And whoever's coming will see and ask why.
This face?
Number 19, Cuckoo. Release date, September 29, 2023. Almost nothing is known plot-wise about this one, but it's managed to accumulate some buzz in the horror community anyway. The film stars Hunter Schafer, who has been slaying it on Euphoria for the last few years.
I feel like I've framed my entire womanhood around men. When, in reality, I'm no longer interested in men.
This will mark her live-action big-screen debut, ahead of her appearance in the Hunger Games prequel. Also in the film is Dan Stevens, who quietly looks to continue his solid foray into horror after Apostle and The Rental.
I know. The worst part is over. It's just one last tiny thing.
Also showing up will be rising star Jessica Hennick, who we're excited to see fully dive into the genre after the pseudo-sci-fi horror movie Underwater.
We drilled the bottom of the ocean. And we took too much. And now she's taking back.
Number 18, Ennis Main. Release date, March 31st, 2023. Folk horror seems to be making something of a comeback in recent years, so look for Ennis Main to continue that trend.
You got it.
Mark Jenkins' feature has already been released in the UK after premiering at Cannes in 2022, and the reviews seem to match how good it already looks. The movie is shot to look like it was filmed when it's set, 1973, which only gives us even more of a Wicker Man vibe. This one follows a woman studying a rare flower on an island off the coast of Cornwall, only to be besieged by strange goings-on and nightmare imagery. This already looks like an enigma, and we cannot wait to solve it. Number 17, The Blackening. Release date, June 16, 2023. Since Jordan Peele's Get Out, it feels like black horror films are undergoing a cultural renaissance, and The Blackening looks to be another shrewdly fun offering.
This little reunion about to crack. We got the whole crew back.
Really, bitch? A cabin in the woods?
From barbershop director Tim Story, this slasher comedy sees a group of black friends take a trip to a cabin in the woods, only to be hounded by a masked assailant who looks to test their quote-unquote blackness.
In your predicament, the black character is always the first to die. I will spare your lives if you sacrifice the person you deem the blackest.
The blackest?
Nobody should judge anybody in here, bro.
This one looks absolutely ridiculous, and we are totally here for it. The tagline, "We can't all die first," is seriously funny. And the trailer looks even funnier.
There's a crazy person out here hunting us. You got Rosa Parks on your shirt, right? Would she be sitting down right now?
I mean, that's exactly what she did.
After receiving positive marks at the 2022 Toronto International Film Festival, we're sure the movie-going public will love this just as much. Number 16, Time Cut. Release date to be announced. Christopher Landon has been carving out a nice niche for himself on the comedy horror scene, directing a few well-received slasher hybrids like the Happy Death Day movies and Freaky.
I want my body back.
Come and get it.
While Landon will only be serving as a producer this time around, this one is also coming from his Freaky co-writer Michael Kennedy. If that pedigree doesn't get you excited enough, this Netflix offering is being described as Back to the Future meets Scream.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
Happy Death Day 2U proved surprisingly effective at leaning more into the sci-fi elements, but not so much that it sacrifices the horror angle. We have no doubt that Time Cut can do the same. Number 15, Shelby Oaks. Release date, July 2023. YouTube has only expanded the way fans can interact with their favorite movies, so it makes sense that avenue would lead to the silver screen directly.
The hardworking cast and crew made this an experience I'm never going to forget. It was honestly life-changing, and I am so excited now to get into post-production.
Prominent YouTube critic Chris Stuckman is set to make his feature directorial debut with Shelby Oaks, which he also wrote. The story follows a woman named Mia who goes searching for her sister who went missing along with her paranormal investigation team. When Mia gets close to the truth, she learns that an imaginary demon from her childhood may not have been imaginary after all. Intriguing setup notwithstanding, this one has Stuckman's fan base very excited, and we are not ones to argue. Number 14, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Release date, August 11th, 2023. Bram Stoker's Dracula has been adapted time and time again, including in the movie Bram Stoker's Dracula, but one subplot of the novel that's always seemed ripe for further exploration is the Captain's Log segment.
Storm continues. Crew uneasy. Believes someone or something is aboard the ship with us.
As you'll recall, the original story sees Dracula set sail for England after hosting Jonathan Harker in his castle. Along the way, he feasts on nearly the entire crew of the Demeter, making for a ghostly sight when it finally docks. A movie about a ship being haunted by a vampire is enough to get us intrigued. But this one comes from director Andre Øvredal, who's already given us solid outings like The Autopsy of Jane Doe and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Number 13, The Pope's Exorcist. Release date, April 7th, 2023. We're not sure we need to sell you on this one beyond the title, but we'll try.
Father Gabriele Amorth. On the night of June 4th, you performed an exorcism.
True to its name, The Pope's Exorcist will tell the story of an exorcist who worked within the Vatican. Not just any exorcist, though, but the real-life Father Gabriele Amorth, who's said to have performed thousands upon thousands of exorcisms over his decades-long career. Russell Crowe will be playing Amorth himself, whereas Julius Avery is in the director's chair.
Whatever you do, you only do because God allows it. Did he allow that?
We don't know if this one will be a campy good time like Avery's other horror-adjacent offering Overlord, but at least we know it's in capable hands.
Imagine what could happen if the devil possessed the soul of the Pope's exorcist. Who will defend you?
Number 12, The Deliverance. Release date to be announced. We've already highlighted works from prominent directors in the genre, but it's not every day you get a horror movie from a critically acclaimed filmmaker like Lee Daniels.
My song, Strange Fruit. It reminds them that they're killing us. Reminds them. It reminds you too, Reginald.
This one, supposedly based on a true story, reunites Daniels with his United States vs. Billie Holiday star Andra Day, who plays a mother whose children become possessed. Daniels will also once again work with Precious Oscar winner Monique, who will reportedly be playing a social worker, which is kind of ironic if you've seen the aforementioned film.
So those things that she told you did to her, who else was gonna love me?
Seriously, this Netflix movie has a stacked cast, as it also includes Anjanou Ellis, Omar Epps, and Glenn freaking Close. We're willing to bet this Deliverance will be much more fun to watch than the other Deliverance. Number 11, untitled The Strangers film. Release date to be announced.
Is Tamara here?
No, you got the wrong house.
You sure?
2008's The Strangers, while not a critical darling, has become a cult favorite. It remains an incredibly unnerving home invasion movie whose plausibility can make anyone fearful of isolation. We finally got a sequel a decade later with Prey at Night, but fans have still been jonesing for more Strangers. Well, say no more, as Lionsgate has commissioned not one, not two, but 3 more Strangers movies to be filmed back to back to back. They're all helmed by veteran filmmaker Rennie Harlin, with the first expected sometime in 2023. This time out, a young couple moving across the country will be terrorized at a remote Airbnb, bringing things back to terrifying basics.
Why are you doing this to us?
Because you were home.
Number 10, Insidious, Fear the Dark. Release date, July 7th, 2023.
Oh my God, Dad. He is looking.
While not as big as The Conjuring, the Insidious movies also made quite a name for themselves on the paranormal horror scene in the 2010s. It's been 5 years since the last installment, and 10 since the Lambert family was majorly featured. Indeed, Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and Ty Simpkins will be returning for this one, with Wilson himself making his directorial debut behind the camera.
It's so small and light.
Obviously, this time out, the young Dalton will be college age, and the film will revolve around his further dwelling demons following him and his father Josh to university. We kinda already fear the dark, so we're sure Insidious will only make it that much more pronounced. Number 9, The Boogeyman. Release date, June 2nd, 2023. Great, just what we need to help us sleep even better this summer. And yes, that was complete sarcasm.
It's been around forever. Hidden. In the dark.
Stephen King has given the world enough nightmares to last generations, so you gotta know his take on the boogeyman will be something extra. Adapted from King's short story, this one follows a man and his 2 daughters grieving the recent death of the family matriarch. In comes the original thing that goes bump in the night to scare them straight.
What is this? It's the thing that comes for your kids when you're not paying attention.
Originally slated for Hulu, this one has instead been shifted for theaters, the prime viewing atmosphere. As if we needed any more faith in this one, it's been penned by the writers of A Quiet Place. So there. Number 10, The Nun 2. Release date, September 8th, 2023. James Wan is already having a big 2023 on the producing side of things. In addition to Megan and Insidious, he's also got one more offering later on this list. But few movies get our skin crawling like those in the Conjuring universe. Helmed by Michael Chaves, who previously handled the universe's Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, The Nun 2 sees modern horror icon Valak return to cause more mischief. Also returning is lead actor Thaisa Farmiga, who continues to follow in her sister Vera's footsteps in the universe at large.
I thought this ground wasn't holy anymore.
It is now.
Number 7, Renfield. Release date, April 7th, 2023.
Renfield, bring in innocent victims. I want a handful of nuns, a busload of cheerleaders.
And I just want a normal life again.
Nicolas Cage may not actually be a vampire in real life, maybe, but he was definitely meant to play one. He played one in Vampire's Kiss, sorta. But now he's playing the mother of all bloodsuckers himself, Dracula.
Some call me the Dark One, others the Lord of Death. To most, I am Dracula.
Okay, obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than just narcissism here.
This horror comedy update on the mythos stars Nicholas Hoult as the titular servant to the Count, long looking to break free from his master's thrall. Along the way, he'll encounter characters played by the likes of Awkwafina and Ben Schwartz, proving that this reimagining will have quite the funny bone. We had no idea we needed this, but boy do we need this.
My boss gave me this power. In return, I tend to his needs, including care, feeding.
You bring him people to eat? You're like the guy that gets the villain's Postmates.
Number 6, Haunted Mansion. Release date, August 11th, 2023.
I know this place isn't as warm as I'd hoped. But I'm going to light a vanilla candle, and it's going to be a game changer.
Will it though?
We're out.
While nostalgic viewing for some, The Haunted Mansion isn't nearly as good as the other movie based on a Disney park ride that came out that year.
You better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Impossible comparisons aside, the Mouse House looks to give the attraction a movie to really scream about 20 years later with this new adaptation.
This house has a way of playing tricks on you.
A more family-friendly version of the classic haunted house narrative, this one will see a single mom, played by Rosario Dawson, enlist a handful of kooky characters to exorcise their newly acquired mansion. The supporting cast alone has us psyched. From Lakeith Stanfield, to Owen Wilson, to Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jared Leto, Winona Ryder, and Dan Levy, just to name a lot.
Other more powerful entities may come through.
Not on our watch. Well, what are you gonna do? Seriously?
They're already dead.
You're gonna be deader.
Okay.
Number 5, Saw 10. Release date, October 27th, 2023.
Hello, Amanda. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Few horror franchises make it to 10 installments without being relegated to the home market along the way. In the spirit of Jason X and Fast 10, Saw 10 will celebrate the milestone in a big way. Though, unlike those franchises, this one probably won't go to outer space.
There is a way to save him, or you can keep him locked up and throw away the key. The decision is yours.
After the franchise pivoted in 2021 with Spiral, this one looks to be getting back to basics, and getting back its biggest star, Jigsaw.
Hello, Anna.
Tobin Bell returns to play the horror icon, despite the character being dead for some 17 years now. Also returning is director Kevin Grudert, who helmed the 6th and 7th installments.
6, ride the carousel. But only 2 can get off.
Will Saw 10 be the one to finally reignite the series? Only time will tell. Number 4, Salem's Lot. Release date to be announced. The questionable post-production of this one kept it from getting a full entry on our last list, but if it's as good as it already is in our heads, this could be the Stephen King adaptation we've been waiting for. Salem's Lot had 2 prior release dates for September 2022 and April 2023, losing the latter to our number 2 entry, but is currently waiting in limbo. Whatever's going on behind the scenes, Warner Brothers should know we are anxiously awaiting this one. It comes from writer-director Gary Dauberman, who penned multiple Conjuring spin-offs in addition to helming Annabelle Comes Home. Suffice it to say, whenever this one comes out, you can bet we will be buying a ticket. Number 3, Beau is Afraid. Release date, April 28th, 2023.
I am so sorry for what your daddy passed down to you. But I wanted a child, the greatest gift of my life.
Will audiences be afraid of this surrealist comedy horror film? Maybe not, but it is coming from the director who gave us 2 of the most unnerving movies of the 2010s, Ari Aster.
Welcome back.
I hit you with my car.
What?
I know. Originally titled Disappointment Boulevard, this follow-up to Aster's Hereditary and Midsommar stars Joaquin Phoenix, seemingly as multiple versions of a man named Beau, whose journey home takes a strange supernatural turn.
You will walk many miles. Dozens will become hundreds. hundreds will become thousands. Your adventures will continue for years and years.
Further solidifying the comedy angle of this one is a cast that includes the likes of Nathan Lane, Richard Kind, Patti LuPone, Amy Ryan, and Parker Posey. Beau is Afraid looks wild, and knowing Aster, it will definitely be memorable.
Do you want the truth now?
Number 2. Evil Dead Rise. Release date, April 21st, 2023.
No matter how busy you ever got, you always found time for me. I can't believe I'm never gonna speak to you again.
The fact that this is only the 5th Evil Dead film is a crime, but we'll take what we can get after waiting a whole decade since the last one. Originally slated to come out on HBO Max, Evil Dead Rise was delayed slightly to prep for a full theatrical release, which can only be a good sign. In a change of scenery, this Evil Dead will be trading the isolated cabin setting for a cramped LA apartment complex. Coupled with the change of scenery, the premise also has us intrigued, as it'll follow a young woman who seeks to aid her possessed sister and save the latter's kids. Let's just hope we don't have to wait another 10 years for Evil Dead 6. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Untitled The Exorcist film. Release date, October 13th, 2023.
By this sign of the Holy Cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
Amen.
Many people often forget that the groundbreaking original has a whole slew of sequels, with this being the 6th installment, or 5th depending on who you ask. While the franchise has had more downs than ups, there is a reason to get excited for this one. For starters, it comes just in time to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the original. Second, it's being helmed by David Gordon Green, who recently gave us the new trilogy of Halloween movies.
Gotcha. Happy Halloween, Michael.
While the last 2 of those had their issues, Green looks to apply much the same formula here, developing again a new trilogy to follow up the first. Here's hoping that he and returning star Ellen Burstyn have even better success.
I'm telling you that thing upstairs isn't my daughter. Now, I want you to tell me that you know for a fact that there's nothing wrong with my daughter except in her mind. You tell me you know for a fact that an exorcism wouldn't do any good. You tell me that!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.